Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. In my earlier years of photography, I lived and breathed weddings. Everything that I shot were all things couples, engagements, bridals, just weddings. And the perspective that I have of being a photographer and being married, I wanted to give you my thoughts on everything that you need to know about selecting someone to document your wedding. Weddings can be super expensive and this can be a super stressful decision as well. So I wanted to give you some insights, tips, and tricks and things to look for in order to find the perfect person for your perfect day. Your cake will be eaten, your dress will be put away in a closet somewhere, the flowers will die. All you're going to have to remember it are these pictures. And that is why this video may be the most helpful one I've made on this channel so far. So with that said, please watch this video all the way to the end. I promise you that there will be some incredibly important information for you guys who are looking for photographers, as well as information for you photographers who are out there too. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I lived and breathed weddings. I love, and I'm a huge fan of weddings and all that they are. If you think about it, it's basically just a big party celebrating two people who love each other. That's kind of awesome. And no one is mad or upset when they go to one either, unless you're an ex or, you know, whatever. But for the most part, it's a pleasant and wonderful experience celebrating two people committing their lives together. It's just super wholesome. Anyway, that said, there are some key things that we just can't ignore. Wedding photographers are expensive, which makes this decision super stressful. But don't worry, this video will ultimately help you in knowing what to look for. So the first topic here is the price. Please don't make this decision off of price. And what I mean by that is don't be cheap, but don't pay way too much. There is such thing as a sweet spot, and I'm gonna tell you how to find that. Now, when it comes to photography, there are not a lot of objective rules about it, which is why some people get confused about what is good photography and what is bad photography. Now, it's important to know that it's not a one-to-one ratio of skill and price. It doesn't just exponentially keep getting better the more that you pay. Realistically, it's more like a curve. Meaning there will be a point in time where your money doesn't get you more skill necessarily. And on the other side of the spectrum, there is a point in time where not enough money won't get you enough skill. So to find that sweet spot, you're going to want to figure out your budget. Now, when it comes to the budget, this can be super stressful, as I'm sure it is, because weddings are expensive. But please remember what I said earlier. All you're going to keep at the end of your wedding is your spouse and then your photos. So please prioritize your photographer at least in the top 10 of your decisions for your wedding day. So finding that sweet spot of price and skill will ultimately depend on what you can afford. Duh. But that will give you a pretty good idea instead of blindly asking everyone everywhere how much they charge. So again, don't aim for dirt cheap, but don't aim for some professional celebrity photographer. Aim for something that's realistic and works for you. So for those of you who are budget conscious or super tight on money, it's okay. Just do your best. Don't stress out. There will be people out there who will fit your needs. So as for keeping the price down, see if they offer some kind of bundle. See if they offer some kind of engagement shoot or, bridal / first look type of shoot to include with the wedding day. Most photographers will offer some kind of discounted bundle for you, and that will just make the entire experience a lot easier. All of these photos will be consistent, which is super nice. You would have already known them and known how to work with them, so you won't feel super awkward or uncomfortable with just some random stranger. So if you are looking for some kind of discount, that is how you do it. Please do not just flat out ask for a discount. We know you don't mean it, but it is super offensive if you do that. So sorry, but chances are these people probably use photography as their full-time job. They have to plan all of their income around these weddings. It is insanely stressful and difficult to live a life where all of your money is based around conversations that you have with people. So sorry if I've offended you in any way, but I have to defend photography as an art form. These people are turning you and your entire day into art, which is pretty hard to do. And kind of going off topic here, but I truly believe that the current standard of what we consider photography needs to be raised by a lot. There are so many people out there who just type photographer in their little bio just to make a quick buck off of people. There is no shortcut to talent or skill. You have to put in the time and you have to learn. There is no preset or software or lens or camera that can just magically make you talented. Putting photographer in your bio doesn't make you a photographer any more than owning a hammer makes you a carpenter. And again, my point here isn't to discourage anyone. In fact, it's quite the opposite. That's what this whole channel is for. I truly believe that everyone should be a photographer in some way, shape, or form. So again, I'm not trying to offend anyone, and hopefully you know where I'm coming from. Photography as a whole is incredible. It has changed my life. And for those people who are there to document your day, I want them to love it just as much, if not more. Okay, tangent done. Boop. The next thing to keep in mind is how professional are they to work with? Now, some things that you can look for in deciding that: how do they communicate with you? And how are they communicating / presenting themselves to the world? How is their branding? Look at their Instagram, look at their website. Do they even have a website? Is their link some unique URL to their name or business? Or does it still have Squarespace, Wix, what even is WordPress, Blogspot, I guess, MySpace, Tinder? Anyway, you get what I mean. Is their work up to date, both on their social media and on their website? How are their captions? Do they feel professional? Do they feel fun? How are they in communicating with you? Is that through DMs? Is that through texts? Is that through emails? Again, a lot of this isn't necessarily a deal breaker, but they are some things to look for in how professional they are to work with. You want them to take their job seriously and take you seriously. Next thing to look for is their personality. How is it working with them? Are they fun? Are they professional? Are they organized? Do they remember the things that you've told them? Are they easy to deal with? Are you easy to deal with? Now, I'm not saying that you can't have what you want. You should. You're paying these people. You absolutely should get what you want. As you're communicating, make sure that you have a good fit. Now, they don't necessarily need to be hyper and super outgoing, but they need to be enjoyable to work with, because odds are you're going to be around them for a really long time, and you don't want that person to be a hindrance or a problem or an annoyance throughout your day. Generally speaking, they should be easy to work with. After all, you're paying these people for a service, so you should have high expectations. And to be short, it's okay to be picky. It's okay to have requests. It's okay to ask for things. In fact, that's something that I really appreciated when I was shooting weddings so often, because in a way I would then know that I was getting what they wanted, and I appreciated the guidance so that I knew that I wasn't missing something that was important to the couple. So it's okay to feel like you're being a little annoying. Just be reasonable and make sure that they're also easy to work with, because that flow between client and photographer is super important. It will make the wedding day super enjoyable. Your wedding day is stressful enough as it is. You have so many other things that you need to be worried about. You don't also need to be worried about whether or not your photographer is doing a good job. So find someone that you know you can trust. At the end of it all, you want to hire a solution, not a problem. The next thing to keep in mind are expectations. You should hire someone for their style, not because of their price. Photography can be really hard to quantify because it's so subjective. It is an art form, so it's really hard to turn into numbers and hard facts. So try to find someone that has a style that just matches you, who has that magic that you're looking for, whether it be their camera angles and how they edit their photos with their coloring and everything else. You shouldn't ever feel the need to ask a photographer to do something that's not in their current style. It would be like asking Bob Ross to paint a Jackson Pollock, or asking Pablo Picasso to paint like Monet. These distinct styles are what made these painters famous and what made them unique to others. So when you're hiring someone, do it because they do something particularly well or beautiful, or something that matches your personality and your taste. Now, in the same line of expectations, look over their website. They may have a frequently asked questions section or some pricing information that will be helpful to you. Scour their website first and see if you still have questions. Along with that, actually read the entire contract. Contracts are set in place to protect the photographer, yes, but they're also set in place to protect you, to make sure that you're getting what you're paying for. So read their contract, make sure everything's reasonable and fair to both parties. And if they don't have a contract, that's a red flag right there. I've generally always used contracts, and in those small few times that I haven't, they were always a headache because no one knew what was happening, no one knew what was expected, and they were just super messy. A good contract will be written to protect the client as well as the photographer. A photographer will either have a consultation with you or some kind of meeting or discussion in which all of your expectations can get laid out. Make sure that happens, because if expectations aren't aligned, you may not get what you're expecting and you may feel ripped off, or vice versa. So always make sure that those expectations are very clear between both people. Now, the last tip that I have for you guys is fit. How well does this photographer fit your needs? You'll know that you found a good fit when their price is right, the sweet spot of what fits in your budget, and the skill or talent that you're hiring. If they're professional and respectful to you and your time. If they've got a good personality and they're fun and enjoyable to work with. If their style matches your specific taste, and if you have matched and exceeded expectations. And you may not realize it, but photographers also have a checklist as they're filtering out clients. A good photographer will shoot anyone, but a great photographer will be picky and only book clients that they click with. Because if the relationship between client and photographer flow, the whole shooting process will be fun for both and beautiful, because both sides are trying to make art. At the end of the day, these tips will help you find a photographer, and you'll know that you've made the right choice when the photographer cares more about you than your wallet, and when you care more about their work than their price tag. This is your wedding day after all. It should be fun and memorable. You shouldn't have to constantly worry about what your photographer's getting or not getting. Your photographer should be a relief to you, not an added stress. So if they did a great job, please tip them. If they've exceeded your expectations, let them know. I can only name a small handful of times when I've been tipped. I remember those moments and I'm still friends with those people to this day. But it's okay if a tip really isn't in your budget. If you still want to support them and thank them, recommend them to others. That is a huge compliment. Your recommendation eliminates this entire process and you'll save another couple a huge headache while also helping that photographer secure their next paycheck. Again, chances are they're probably doing this full time, so it doesn't hurt to help them out a little bit. Anyway, those are my tips for finding your wedding photographer. At the bottom line, you should find someone who has passion, because after all, that's what weddings are all about, right? Anyway, that's it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, this is probably the most helpful video that I've put together. Weddings can be super scary and stressful, but they don't need to be. If this video helped you at all, please share it with someone else and save them a huge headache. If you are getting married soon, congrats from the bottom of my heart. And if you're watching this for fun, good luck. I'm super stoked for your adventure, and I'm happy to be a small part of your journey. If you like this video, like it, comment down below what I should cover in my next video, or if you have any other questions that I haven't addressed here. Do not forget to subscribe for weekly videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.